Hey everybody, welcome back to Sketchcraft Comics and Books. This is where I open up a comic, talk about the art, sometimes the story, mostly the art, because I'm an artist. Today joining me is Ashley West, aka Gangfeather. Ashley, say hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, you're there. She's in. So Ashley, it's been a while. It
has been a while.
I know, right? COVID happened and we just stopped talking. We're like, we hate each other. No.
Yeah, totally.
I know. No, you know how it is. I thought it would be fun today, Ashley, if we go and talk about Skydoll, the comic. Let me just give everyone a brief rundown. This is the Wikipedia. I'm just going to read it back to you. So I know this book, but we'll get into it. Skydoll is an Italian comic book series first published in the year 2000 by Alejandro Barbucci and Barbara Canepa, who also collaborated on Witch and Monsterology. Skydoll features a more adult story and a departure from pure fantasy to a more science fiction aesthetic. Religion and science fiction, as well as the power of mass media, are important themes of the series. Basically, the story follows a character named Noah, who's a Skydoll, in a world where they sort of like fake miracles to gain mass media manipulation and stuff like that. That's the gist of it. It's the gist of it. Ashley, are you familiar with Skydoll? Ashley?
I am. I was on mute. Hi. Yes. Hi. I do. I am a little bit. Yes, I have a big old book right here with me. So I actually got it down off my shelf, and right after that, it fell right out of its dust jacket. It crinkled, and yeah, I was like, I can't have nice things, I guess.
Well, you're going to enjoy this then, because this is Skydoll Factory. Now, what this is I picked this up. I picked up the original Skydoll in Germany. This is my German edition, published by Carlson Comics. They're like the second or third top publisher of comics and stuff in Germany. I think they do children's books and other stuff. But so this is my German edition. I got this in 2003, 20 years ago, Ashley. Oh you know, I know. I took a Christmas vacation up there to go see my buddy, who unfortunately did pass away 2 years ago. So Chris, we miss you. But what this is, and this blew me away when I saw it, this is basically, and we'll get into, there's a nice, they added a 0 issue preview, but this is the pencils, the making of all the breakdowns of Skydoll. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Thanks for checking out the stream, watching Ashley and I talk about Skydoll. Hey, before we get started, if you want to support the channel, right, hook Rob up a little bit, you can go to shopsketchcraft.com. Over at shopsketchcraft.com, I got prints, and I got original art coming. It's not in there yet, but it will be. It might be there by the time you check it out. Anytime I make random art, I got stuff to sell, professional art, personal art, I put it up in there. But I also got all my prints, right? So it's not all of them right now, but it's every week I'm loading it up. I used to be on Etsy. I was there for about several years, but Etsy decided to take 40% of my revenue. So I had to make my own store. But if you're wondering, Rob, I don't know about buying stuff from you. How can I trust you're actually going to ship it? Well, check it out. On my Etsy page, you can check out all of my 5-star reviews, right? I got 200, 300, almost 300, 353 sales. Wow. That's more than I thought. But yeah, you can see everyone's super happy. All the art ships flat. All the art ships on amazing inks, amazing paper. I do not sacrifice quality, folks, okay? So even with the rising costs and stuff, I've kept these prices pretty limited. 12 by 18 print, $60. It's pretty good. I know artists who do 9x9s for more than that. Yeah, so yeah, so if you can go check that out at shopsketchcraft.com, I would appreciate it. And also, if you want to support Ashley, all you got to do, check this out. You can go to Gangfeather at Instagram.com. Instagram.com/Gangfeather. Her info will be in the little info box below the video, right? But you can go check out all of our, look how many process pics she puts up. So if you're interested to see how she creates art, right? How she puts it all together, and she shares everything over here. She's also on Twitch, streams all the time. There's a link, you go check out our Twitch channel, support her directly, subscribe to her channel, say hi, you let her know Sketchcraft sent you. All right. Don't tell her I was sharing her art because she'll get all embarrassed and stuff, right? Like, just keep that between us, okay? But anyways, let's go talk about Sky. We got like an hour or more to go. There won't be any more ads from me. This is it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and if you can, really leave a comment, because the way YouTube works these days, comments seem to be the way it increases the engagement. Oh, one more thing. Even if you don't really want to watch this episode, if you just let this sucker play all the way to the end, it will help my engagement. So you can just turn the volume off, walk away, and you help Rob out. Free thing to do. All right, let's get back. I myself want to revisit this episode, so let's get back to the show. Bye. Like,
oh wow.
So
I don't think my book has that.
Yeah, and this is like 8.5 by almost 12, right? It's pretty big. So you get to see like the rough pencils.
I'm actually looking at that page right now in my book, but it's colored. Yeah. So I don't think I have that.
So and it's in German, so I couldn't tell you what these. But look, it's even got these cool, like, look at this. It's got little thumbnails and little post-its, right? Little like, he's kind of like animating in a way, right? So and this is, so we're just going to go through basically just the art, really, you know, and the breakdowns. We can kind of wheel it back really quickly and just kind of dig through this particular book. I've never seen this material really reprinted. That's Alejandra. That's Barbara. Barbara.
I'll never look that. I'll never pose like that in one of my.
They're Italian, Ashley. You know, I couldn't look that cool in a hoodie anyway. You know,
I think I could pull it off, but I'm not going to do it. There we go. I'll give myself that.
You get in enough trouble on the internet, you don't want to get in any more trouble. So
I know, right?
This is dope though. This is like a preview. It's all in German. Now I was stationed in Germany in the army, and then I used to go back every couple years or so until the recession, basically, and I couldn't afford traveling so much, you know. And I'm hoping to go back here once kind of like COVID really is kind of under, you know. I'm gonna go back because I really enjoyed Germany. I don't speak much the language, unfortunately. I'm not good at languages. I tried. I studied it. I understand what I'm looking at, but, you know, word for word, not really. It's not that hard to master, though, compared to English. It's pretty similar. But if you right away, I mean, you get into, like, this is, like, loose pencils. Like, it really is the colored pencils, like, just Photoshopped right over. And it's, I don't know. I thought it has a really nice look to it. You know?
Yeah. So how is the book actually colored? Is it like because I look at it and sometimes I'm like, you know, it kind of just looks like pencil and then scanned in and then colored over. It might be ink, but some of them I can't tell. Exactly. It's pencils. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, because I was like, this looks like pencil, which I am a fan of. That's, you know, that's what I do. I just think that the pencils are such a nice touch. It gives it such a full look to it. But yeah, sorry, we could probably go more on that later. But yeah, I just off the bat noticed. I was like, these look like pencils.
This is actually because of Skydoll. This is a great shot. Look at this low angle shot right here, right?
Yeah,
it's a pretty good low angle shot. Bottom going up the door. You know, now personally speaking, right? If I was to critique, you could do one or the other. You know, it's not enough of a jump for me, but I'm not gonna, like, who am I to complain? Just more great art. So
yeah, exactly.
But right, but like the pencil look, just coloring over pencils was basically how I was doing all of my professional work up until about 2008 or 9. I got like really bad carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
You know, like it just wasn't working. You have to go to softer and softer leads. If you ever watch the Hayao Miyazaki documentaries on the NHK, go look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about. You can see over the years he's had to go to softer and softer leads because just, you know, pressing for so many years, animating.
Yeah.
So, but these are loose, but they work extremely well. I mean, this is one of the things where it was like, I love this because you still see, if we go in here, like you can still see the construction lines. Like,
yeah, that's what I like about pencils. I like that stuff. Like, I love it when you can see that stuff left in. I don't want it erased. It looks weird to me when it's erased. It looks empty. So I love seeing that stuff. Again, just creates volume.
Yeah, yeah. I wish publishers agreed. Like, you know, it's like, man, I've tried convincing them, and they're just like, it's not complete. Our audience, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I know. So this is the only color work really, and then it goes right into like the first page, basically. You know, it's basically how she became a Skydoll. That's how this is. It goes right in the first page of the series, and then we're gonna get right basically here from here on out. It's all the pencils. I mean, this is marker. This is a marker rendering right here.
Oh.
You could tell.
Yeah.
Like over the pencils, you know. And then here's the different thumbnails for the cover. It really makes you appreciate too, Ashley, like the fact that other countries actually print things bigger than comic books, you know? Like,
oh yeah. Oh god, they're too small. They're too small. Too small. Like I would prefer at least 8.5 by 11, or like 9 by 12. I don't know what size my book is, but it looks like it's.
Well, it's really weird because, you know, there's an argument to be made, and I've heard it from publishers and editors and stuff, like, well, you know, Rob, the comic book reading market is aging. The kids are mostly reading manga. And I'm like, right, so print the comics bigger for older people who need bigger fonts and want to see the art.
Yeah.
And let the kids read the little tiny stuff until they get older. Then they're gonna, like, you know, like, it just, everything's still stuck on the direct market shelf. But
yeah. And
look at this
the
one.
thing too is when you have large characters, it's hard to put them on tiny pages. Just saying. Like, it's hard to fit that. But...
yeah, it's true. This is dope because you could just see it's all side of the pencil shading.
Oh yeah,
you know?
The carpet.
It's all, yeah, and it's got that full carpet feel because of that, you know, which it's sort of impossible to get from an ink line in a lot of ways. You have to sort of like add a few ticks and then let it open, you know. But with pencil, there's just, you know, you get a wide variety of texture with very minimal effort. It's just really nice. Well, let's just take a look here. So, look, this is a great shot here. You know, especially the scale of this dude to her, you know.
Yeah.
And you get all these cool, like, so he must have like, yeah, and like I'm assuming like he, like an animator, he post-it noted the story first, you know, which is actually very similar to how like I'll work when I get a story. I'll just start immediately. Just that way I'm not worried about panels so much. Like, you just kind of work on telling the story, and then the second pass you kind of then, you know, like here you could see there's this. Let's go here. Let me zoom in really quick. Look at this. Like, so you can see this like little grin, right? Close up grin of the demon dude, and that turns into this panel here. Which, look, Ashley, you can still see the gestural, like the swoop lines and stuff in there. Yeah, no cleanup. But I mean, like, printing's, I mean, this was done 20 years ago. Printing's so good now, there's no reason to ink if you don't want to, really, you know. Like, the problem is finding a colorist who kind of like doesn't turn pencils to mud. You know, like a lot of times they'll like over contrast the lines to you know. And
I know exactly. Yeah. It's really difficult. That's why I stopped shading my pencils altogether, because I don't like dealing with it. Trying to get the colors to not turn to mud over the pencils.
But if you've seen like the Skydoll book, no, one second, let me go grab it. You know, we'll go check it really quick. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll just edit this together. But yeah, so I thought it would, you know, I thought, hey, why don't we just do one? But why not? We'll just, these are so tore up over the years. Like, it's so sad. These particular books, I picked these up in like 2001. So these are pretty tore up. They survive multiple moves across countries. But if we go to actual Skydoll book, like let's go look at like there's the final.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. And it's, I don't know, it's just, it's crazy like how detailed it is. And like it's pencil and then colors over it, and it looks good. And I'm just looking at like, man, I can't get mine to look good. I know it takes practice, but man, it's just really admirable. So
Well, I think the key here is just low contrast.
yeah,
Across the board, there's very little contrast. It's all in pastels. There's there's zero primary color, and like it kind of is the only way to do that and maintain like you can see here, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see in these bubbles the pencil tick marks, going across the shells of the windows and stuff. So, but it is easier to see like on these books, the bigger ones, like how it is pencil. Like, and the printing's extremely good, so they got the range. They didn't over, contrast those lines. Now, I did see the Marvel one, and it looked different to me, like the printing quality. Yeah. So, yeah. But I've always owned these particular books, so I was like, I'm not buying a comic book size version of something I own. It's a giant version of,
yeah, same.
But yeah, like if we go, let's just kind of skip over. Like you could see here. Let me zoom in, just like from the spaceship. It's almost like there's marker work over the pencil lines, like these lines. There's this shade area.
I can see the kind of the gradation. It definitely looks like kind of like
markers.
Ink. Yeah,
marker. Yeah, it looked like he probably did a photocopy.
Which is really impressive. Because to take ink to my pencils before like scanning them in or whatever, I'm like, no. Like I don't want to. I don't know the exact process here, but that just sounds like super unforgiving. If you don't know your way around, a marker too well, or you're just not sure. You don't have it streamlined, but that's great. I love that grayscale look, that shading look that markers do give. Sorry.
Yeah, and they give you the texture too, right? The marker texture and everything. Yeah, exactly. Super nice, So it almost feels watercolory, but it isn't, So super dope. I think this panel too, like this city shot too here came out really nice too, because it's not. I'm assuming because I can see the construction lines here and not there. I'm assuming this is a cleanup pencil, like this got cleaned up, like either light boarded, right? To one more cleanup pass, because you could see it's still a little rougher here compared to there. Like that, these little tick marks are not the same as these tick marks. So I'm assuming there's one extra, which is really nuts because like these days you really could just color this and it's fine.
And anything to save time.
Yeah, and this let me see. In this character's face, the construction's all in here, and then here it's pretty clean, but yeah, I don't know, like either way, looks great though to old Rob. So let's take a look at some of the color now. And what I really like too about this particular printing is the paper's nice and matte.
Oh, I know.
Mine
is gloss, but I still like it. It's fine.
Yeah, but I think the matte really just helps with the mixed media. He definitely went like full digital in later volumes because it's very Photoshoppy. Not bad, just has a different look. But the first two volumes just have a mixed media feel to me that just I don't think they've ever really been topped, like for my opinion. But yeah, this is basically like a heavy metal animation style thing, meets Disney. I mean, actually, in 2001, I mean, it was like everything was going in America. Everything went like to like the ultimates, like very realistic rendering style, and I was like just disenfranchised with most of the art in comics. And then one day, I happened to be at the train station in Bahnhof, and I just was like, "What is this?" Like,
Oh yeah, it definitely catches your eyes. The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh my god, what is this?" And I mean, and I discovered it way after you did. I don't even remember the first time I saw it. It was probably like 2018 or something.
he's sort of like
2017.
putting signs and everything. Like the first time I saw that in comics was Keith Giffen, the guy who created Lobo, would put that stuff in his work a lot. And so anytime I see it, like I'm a big fan of like I love it's fun to make fake signs and pun products, right? Pun products,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I find that to be very difficult, but very enjoyable when it works.
This is the thing that gets me this right here, because these computer interfaces, they're all hand drawn. Like let me this hurts my knuckles looking at it. Like
Yeah, that's impressive. But that's what I want. That's kind of like what I like doing. I kind of want to try to draw every little thing I can with the pencil. Although sometimes it is a pain in the ass to get all the just to get things to look perfect. But that's the thing, is you can't make things look perfect. You have to imply, the shapes, and because you're gonna be looking at it from far away anyway. That's why I always keep telling myself you have to you can't just infinitely, zoom in. So and by looking at this, I can tell, like, okay, they kind of have to, they're doing the same thing. Like, so I'm like, okay, like, I'm having trouble explaining myself here because it's all in my head. Typical artist. It's all in my head, but I'm like trying to put it into words, and it's not working.
well,
But
you
yeah,
can
but I'm
see
kind of
here,
here looking.
you could see
Go
like
ahead.
this is definitely a cleanup version, because this is pretty loose right here. Look how rough.
Yeah.
Like, essentially the shading of like the fabric, it's like the silhouette method that I would do, but you're just doing the side of the pencil to kind of like, you fill that in and then you throw a stroke over it, and you kind of go, oh, that's the drapery, and then you work it out in the second pass. You can even see like he scribbled in the sound effects here, and then that's drawn pencil sound effects.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at the German lettering, like, see how the bubbles aren't perfectly oval, like how every American comic book letterer tells you there's only one way to do it. Like, I'm at war with letterists in America. I hate their rules. No other country follows the rules of American letterists, really, and I just really hate that they're like, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. I'm like, that's why everything sucks, dude. Sorry, I really,
no,
really,
I
like,
think
look at these word balloon shapes,
yeah.
They're great. And they're
Yeah,
totally
I think they should be, the word balloons are just as much as part of the art as the art. If they look crappy, it makes the art look worse. So, it's I definitely believe that they should have a nice look to them. Whatever
well,
that look may be.
these are hand
Drawn.
drawn.
Yeah, hand drawn.
These are hand
Well,
drawn.
it looks better hand drawn. In fact, it does. Like you get to, you get more control over it. Like,
how is it possible, Ashley? You can only do word balloons vector, right? You can only do them vector.
No, you can't.
No. You can only delete anything that isn't a vector word balloon. It cannot be printed. There's only one way to do it. It's so ridiculous. Oh no, look, there isn't enough space between the word and the bubble. Fail, right?
Yeah, right.
I know. it's a point of control. I don't know. I really have a problem with the rules of lettering according to American comic book art letters. Like, it's a great panel. The use of white here.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like lettering should be a little bit intuitive, right? It's like if it looks good and it reads, and it's probably fine. I mean, obviously, you probably got to know, a little bit of knowledge about typography or text placement, but still, I think a lot of it is just intuitive, and you're gonna know. But anyway,
here's my advice. Basically, it's like this: make sure your eyes are always the ones without the capitals, unless it's in the front of a letter, and don't hyphenate too much because it's hard to read hyphenated words. You know, and trim out. Like they're gonna have to say something small. If you want a big box, literally just make a box and have me read it. I know some people would hate that, but they used to do it in indie comics all the time in the 80s, and you know what? You can choose to read it or not read it. Yeah. I know, but they complained back in the day. Like, it's too much reading.
Actually, I looked at it. When I looked at it, I go, you can do that? Cool. I had the opposite effect.
But Todd got that from Cerebus, Dave Sim Cerebus, which is just chock full of words. So, especially the first 14, 15 issues of Spawn are lettered very much like Cerebus comics. So, I mean, Dave Sim's a questionable person, but if you go look at Cerebus and the lettering, you will be impressed. It's pretty fantastic. Okay, the use of white, though, right? Like just pure white as a light source here. Still, like, my head has a hard time getting around it. I love it, though. It's pretty dope. Like, so that means the table's illuminated.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of reflective light on the characters. Like I'm looking at the table right now, which I do like. I do like that it's just a pure white table in the bar wherever they're at. Yeah. That is pretty cool. It just creates a sense of there's just so much. It's such a dark scene that it just kind of makes the rest of the piece it gives a contrast. Basically, you can tell where that group of characters are. You can tell where the other one in the background is, like where you could kind of make out, okay, it gives it depth, right? And it's very nice.
And it feels futuristic. So simple, right? So simple. This panel, let's see if I can find that really quick. Oh man, I don't even know if I can. The factory covers both volumes.
I will say about the white too, it keeps the characters from like just disappearing into the panel where you're like, what am I looking at? It gives the reader something to, or the viewer, it helps your eyes rest on a focal point.
Here, this particular page I was interested in. So you can see, like, let me zoom in. He's got all the signage and it's carted in, like he's sketched it into perspective, right? So there's a center line, everything's going up this way, basically. It's not perfect. By the way, I prefer not every line converging to one viewpoint along the, you can have multiple viewpoints along a horizon line or even a vanishing point. But the verbiage is in perspective. So I'm assuming that's a Photoshop. Like manipulation, like, because I'm looking at this, like this 60s. I was like, how did you draw that? Not kill your knuckles? And I didn't.
Right. Yeah.
So there is a limit to what, because I'm like, no, please don't. I almost feel bad. Like, please tell me you didn't do that to yourself. Like, thank goodness he didn't. So, but this factory book, I have no idea where it's even available. Yeah, these are all of his storyboards in the bottom, man. Skyboards. You can see just like, oh, sorry. So like all the art down here. You just go across. You don't really need the words to get the storytelling. It's pretty great as is. But yeah, this is some. And it almost looks like airbrush. Like, I'd love to know how much of this is traditional and if there's any digital work, because it almost feels airbrushy or like almost all markered. you know?
Yeah,
There's a
it is
good
a little bit.
chance this is all markers with airbrush. I mean, I just don't know. That's the one thing, like this factory book doesn't show any of that, so that's why I was like, I wonder if it is, you think they would show some of it, but it's mostly just the pencils. Here you can see we get into Noah's. There's some concept art. Let me zoom out. So the airbrushing is just so soft, however it was done. The fact that I still can't tell, I mean, this is digital for certain, like the dodging glows on the eyes and stuff, but it's just so, I just have to assume it's marker work with Photoshop colors because it feels like this, you can see the marker texture and stuff in there. But
I think so too, with like maybe added glows and things like that.
yeah, but they didn't overdo it.
No.
Like, stuff is just fun for anatomy shapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly they saw Fifth Element, right? Had to. I remember one time in Germany, there's like a pass there's a pass you can get, like a bus pass for the train, right, for the Bahnhof. And I didn't know how to explain to this girl at a kiosk. So I looked at her, I'm in my early 20s at the time, and she was around that age, and I'm like, multipass. She just smiled, multipass. And, and it was like 60 marks. And so I was like, hey, multipass. We connected over Fifth Element.
How do you know?
So yeah, you can really see the big pencil lines here and stuff. It's really nice.
That's really pretty too. The one where she's sitting, it's very muted in color. One where she's sitting with the lipstick.
See, this is why I said this is all marker work right here.
Yeah.
Right, and you can see like this is probably where like the white is just painted in acrylic white or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like,
it definitely looks like it's marker work. Then it's been scanned because it has that scanned like kind of it's like a kind of a what's the word, faded look, but in a good way. It's not like oversaturated. It's got that kind of that grain to it. I love it.
Right. Yeah, this is a really good compositional piece too.
Yeah.
This is digital colors, but super nice.
Oh yeah.
Super nice. I guess these are just different. It's crazy. That's a great one. This little, let me zoom in. She's like,
oh, it's like a little chibi. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. She's like super cool. It's the only problem with the bigger books. It's like hard to get the camera to see everything.
Yeah,
I always thought this particular layout's nice. The line work. It's just the lines going to show over the shapes. Yeah. Some of the stuff's in English. Some of it isn't. I've never understood why they.
Reason.
Right. But excellent graphic design. Just like the layouts of everything. 2 color, 3. And then this is dope because you get like some cutouts of the ship and stuff. Oh, wow. And you can see like some of the marker work for interior concepts and stuff for the cockpit.
So like, is that an art book of it? Like, is that like what you have right there? That's like an art book.
Basically a making. It's perfect now, just like the other ones. Yeah. So like this I picked up in 2001, but then when I went back 2 years later, this was on the shelf. So it's like double the size. It's got both the 2 volumes plus concept art for all the stuff.
Yeah, because the book that I have is it's the big book with the dust jacket with basically a silhouette of Noah, and then inside of it, it's got like all these drawings, and she's got like a gun. And it's the ultimate Skydoll. I guess that's what it's called. I don't know if that's like the
Ultimate. Do they have all this
The
stuff?
ultimate. No, I
It's
wouldn't
not
say
ultimate
it.
then.
It sounds, yeah, it is, but
Yeah,
it is like a big old book. It's like, I don't know, it's got to be like 200 some odd pages, maybe 300.
that's a great.
It doesn't have page numbers though. Oh wait, it does.
I like this one.
200. It's about 200 pages. Yeah.
Yeah, this is only like 100. This is like maybe 80, 90 pages.
Man, those colors just pop.
Yeah.
I love red.
That's a dope layout.
A what
Just the
layout?
idea, this layout right here, this is dope. Like this.
Oh, it's dope. Okay.
Yeah, dope. Like it's like it's got the, it's that whole Catholic or Catholic,
Yeah.
imagery type, with a little bit like science fiction BDSM or something like.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I love it. It's unhinged, but it's
So
very
I'm not
busy and it's very busy and I like that. Like there's so much in it. Like sometimes I just stare at my work and what can I add to this? And then I like look at Skydoll and it's just got just details upon details upon details and it's just like, oh my god.
well,
So it's great.
it's symmetrical in design, but not in
Yeah.
the art. It's not like a copy and paste over now, or now
No,
where you'd use
no.
a symmetry tool. It still has depth. It still has three dimensionality. Nowadays a lot of kids probably just draw the symmetry tool and it would kind of look flat.
I might be might be an unpopular opinion now. I can't stand that.
Has a look,
I'm like,
right?
just draw the thing, all of it. Just draw all of
Right.
it. Okay. I understand that maybe for certain things like creating VTube models, you need it, but like if you're just drawing a drawing, just draw it, man. Just don't use that. Like,
It's a
sorry.
great layout. These are all just fantastic shapes. Like even just the way this, the crown wrapped around in 3D.
Yeah.
Super good. Fun shape designs, and then there's some fan art. So this is something that they do a lot in I don't know, eraser stuck there. Different professionals that you're friends with, they'll be like, hey, you want to do a piece, for fun, and they'll chime in. This Jean Simon Loche, he did this series. I'm gonna cover. I'll have you on for it sometime. You'll like it. So
Okay.
he did this Robin Hood thing around this time. So that's why he drew her like Robin Hood. It's super good. It's all mixed media paint over pencils.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's super good.
Yeah,
He's
it definitely
one
has that look.
of the best. This guy ended up going to DreamWorks a few years later. So he worked on a lot of the DreamWorks films and stuff. Super, super brilliant artist. And then Claire Wendeling did two pieces. She's one of the greatest illustrators of all time. Figure designer. If you've ever seen her, like her animal renderings, and she's done some Marvel covers here and there on stateside, but she's mostly been in animation. So she was like at the WB animation studio working on like Quest for Camelot, and you're like, oh, that movie sucks. But when you see her art, you're like, why didn't it just look like that? I had always hoped she would have been the person that sort of art directed the Bone movie, when they were trying to do an animated Bone film.
And quick side note on Quest for Camelot. I like the character designs. It may not be as the best that they may not have the fullest potential if they could have been, but I see the potential. Like I do think the character designs of like the bad guys are really good. I don't know if I'm keen on the dragon. I don't know. I don't think I ever really liked the dragon twins. But I like them, right? But like I like the movies. I like the character designs. So aside from the story, right?
I always feel like had the French, the Italians done their version of Dragon's Lair, she would have been,
yeah,
the one to go to as well. Giovanni Reggiano, Giovanni did, I think he was on Monster Allergy, or he's in that mix. Super good artist. And then these are just different photos of them. That's her, that's him, that's,
Oh
I
my
guess
god,
they're at
the cat. Look at
Disneyland.
the cat.
I know,
What
look
is
at the
that?
little kitty.
Oh
That's
my
all.
god, the eyes.
I know, right?
Cute.
Little golem looking fur monster, right? And then some ads and stuff, but some cool fun pieces too, right?
Oh yeah.
So
Does
this
that
is
have
a
does that
fun.
have a face on it? It does.
Yeah,
That's like a
well,
little
it's a
cat.
cat. It's a cat. Their ship is
Yeah.
a cat ship. I
Okay.
imagine that comes from Totoro, right? The cat bus.
Yeah.
Like they were kind of
I
throwing
was about to
that
say
in there.
I'm not seeing things, right? It looks like a cat, right?
And then this
That's
is the
cool.
Robin Hood book I mentioned to you. I have these, so we'll go over that sometime. But really quickly, let's just pop open in color and just zoom through here, folks, so we can kind of do it all at once. And then, just chime in, Ashley, if there's anything that catches your eye or,
I was there a minute ago.
So
Yeah, I do like the use of they do a good job of using a lot of like pinks, oranges, and green blues, which I find really, really nice. I just you have the greens and then you have Noah, which is like just kind of pops right out with her pink, orange, outfit, purple. And
well,
I like that. Go
it's
ahead.
colored with a limited palette in the way that you would with mixed media, right? Like when you're working with mixed media, you can't add, the more colors you add on an actual page, everything turns to brown. Like if you just keep adding color and paint, if you take all the tubes in your paint, you'll get brown if you keep mixing them together.
Right.
And
go ahead. Sorry.
But in Photoshop or digital, right, whatever you're working in, you can just keep adding colors and colors and colors, and that doesn't happen. So this is still being colored with the mindset of that limited palette. And I do think, look, you can do a limited palette and it can be fully rendered and dimensional and not say be as flat as like Hellboy or something. I'm not complaining about Hellboy, folks. I love Hellboy. I'm just saying that you can do a limited palette and it not look limited. It's basically it. Comes to like all this like in this shot here, like all of these tubes and cables and ship stuff, it's all just rendered in marker or whatever, first 3-dimensional. It's got cast shadows, so the colors is there. The value, there's a thing in painting, actually, they say if you get your values right, everything else will work, right? And I just feel the values here are right. So the hue is the color, the value is the tonal work being done underneath. The values are spot on,
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, and then we'll jump to the second book really quick. Just kind of zoom around that because the color palettes, this is all blues and pinks and orange, and then we get to the second book, Aqua, and you get a few more. You get more of these bronze colors.
Yeah, I get the which is really great.
Which is like here, like it's really great orange bronze. This planet shot is fantastic. This is the sort of thing, whatever's going on here is what's missing from a Star Wars comic. Like when I go and read those.
Man, that is so good looking.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like on the page where it's got these like, I don't know what page. Well, I can't describe it, but it's a page full of gold, and it's just really cool looking. It's got like the hazard caution, like what is it? The yellow black caution kind of patterning, and it's really cool looking. I love that stuff. Just really looks industrial.
If you just look at these two pages, like these two pages alone, this use of orange and gold compared to these very pastel teals, right?
Lots of reds as well, reds and golds, and I love red. So.
But no really primaries. Nice. These are all in the neutral range.
Yeah.
So that's why the pencil still pops through. You can see a little bit more Photoshop using like the dodge tool to kind of put out speculars right here.
Yeah.
You can see them. And then look at this total purple page. Purple. This layout is
something else. I was just looking at that one. I was like, oh my God.
I know. Yeah, I mean, look, it blew me away in 2001. And I'm still like impressed by it because that's great art never gets old. Look at the CGI from 2001 and see if it holds up.
Oh,
Like
God.
say, you know,
Don't
like
even.
stylized art lasts. It ages
Yes.
well.
Oh yeah.
So-called realism is always of the moment. I always thought the perspective on this was really solid. Like the shape on this statue, like I mean, it's really three dimensional. It's got these different hands, and it's a simple panel, but it, you know, like there's actually a character behind it, a statue behind it, and everything.
I can't get over like that one you were just looking at with like the kind of like the the one you were just like marveling at the gold and the green.
This
Sorry, my
one.
voice keeps cracking today. I gotta speak up. Anyway, um, yeah, look at the building in the back. Like, it's just like what the heck, man. Look at that. It's just perfect, and I love it.
Well, it has scale and it
It
has,
does.
you know, it has depth. So there's characters inside the pods. There's little squiggly dudes down here. It goes way all the way back up there. You can see the clouds. The clouds are marker rendered, so they're pretty soft, really nice. There's
Ah,
actually details in the statues up here. It's hard to make
yeah,
out.
there's the whole crowd
There's,
or whatever. The crowd is detailed. There's stuff in the bubble, like you said. There's
yeah.
the door. It's just great. It's impressive, and man, the detail.
And doing the TV announcer chick as a pullover is super nice because then you get
Mhm.
a big character.
Oh yeah.
Variety is important in shot to shot. Like comic strips are usually done with singular sized characters for speed and efficiency, but when you're doing more of a graphic novel, you really do want to, especially when you're trying to emulate the feeling of say a cinematic feeling, you need to alternate the size of your characters.
Yeah, you do.
The variety is super important.
Yeah, it needs to look like every shot is like you said, like it's a movie. You have your, your establishing shots, your close-ups, your extreme close-ups, and um, yeah, no, I'm all about that. I'm all about that. So it's
This
really
one I
nice
thought
to
was
see.
awesome too. It's just like statues that are underwater, like they're just popping out over the surface. Look like these lilies, like
Yeah, I look at this
lilies.
and I just want to go. I'm like, now you're just showing off. Like
Right.
every panel's like that. It's like, come on, man. Ah.
Yeah. That's why the dude's like, yeah, I don't do any more of this. Like, sometimes you prove one thing and you're like, I proved it.
Yeah.
No other stuff now. That's the detail on this panel alone is enough for an entire page.
Oh yeah. And what I want to
There's
know is, were they drawing this on illustration board or were they drawing these individually? Like,
oh no, this is one board. They're that good.
see, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Don't mess with the Italians. Like there's a whole Disney crew out there. Like they got these Disney comics they've had for 50 some plus years. So there's just this insane amount of talent out there that not only can draw, them and the French, man. They're so good. They take their cartooning seriously. This is like, here it's like our cartooning just evolves and devolves and devolves and devolves.
Oh God, I'm so embarrassed.
You know, to the point where, when people see me draw a cartoon, like, why is the proportion weird? It's like
it's not weird. It's
Americans,
called
yeah.
exaggerated proportion. It's disproportionate for a reason. Yeah, like sorry. Yeah, I take things so seriously, but it's because I'm passionate. But yeah.
Well, it's also because we're stuck in a country that just the mentality is pretty dumb.
Oh, yeah.
I always love these pillows. This is like an artist thing. Like I remember when I first bought this book, I was like,
that page.
let's get the pillows.
Holy shit! I love drawing massive amounts of pillows. Yes, pillows upon pillows. I agree. It needs to happen.
It's a good curvilinear like shot, right? He's looking into this like bulb, and it's like he's actually warping. We're almost done here, so
Yeah.
we'll get to it. The colors they're phenomenal. This is very Akira to me. this particular shot with the pipes and the explosion. What's homework?
Oh yeah, I just got to where you were. Sorry, I got lost in the art for a minute.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Folks are just going to buy their own copy if they want to stare at every panel for an hour. But and then this final space station, which I wonder at the time if dude was watching Cowboy Bebop and was like, I too can do this, you know, but here's the next
Gosh, yeah.
here's the next step, right? I was a big Cowboy Bebop dude at the time, but look at I mean, it's phallic, so it's got that cheeky humor, but it also has the space station design to it. Yeah. I just love, this is like the thing, folks. Like, I don't care if the lines are perfect, really. I mean, this is extremely well drawn, but when this sort of thing has been replaced by 3D models and comics, I tune out.
No.
I tune out.
Yeah,
I
same
tune
here.
out.
Same here.
I just disregard it. I'm like, I don't. It's not special.
It doesn't make me want to read it. Yeah.
I know it can be done with a 3D model. It would be like quote unquote perfect, but I lose the human.
There's no. There's no. It's
I'm
just
impressed by this 20 years later. If it were a CGI model, I would not be impressed by it. You know,
yeah,
like,
I'm trying to put it into words. I can't. I'm like, how do I say this?
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's. I want to see a human. I want to be impressed by a human, and I don't like being fooled. That I'm like, oh, you mean, oh, okay, so, you know, it wasn't. It was a.
The way I got around doing this sort of thing was just with my blobs. Like this, because like I would draw this, and then, you know, I'd learn how to do it through center and build stuff out, and I was like, this is taking too long. So I figured out my blobby method, which gets me around a lot of. Once you understand the construction, you can. But if you don't understand the construction, you got to learn the hard way. Then you can shortchange. But people just ignore learning and go right to 3D models, and I'm like, well,
I can't.
Now it's dead to me, and then
exactly
that's that. So yeah, folks, again, I was gonna just do originally the factory, but why not? Let's just put all three of these things down here. Let me zoom out. Badoosh. Look at they even don't all fit.
I'm afraid I'm starting to sweat on my book. It's so hot in here.
Oh, you're
My hands are starting to get like sweaty. It's like So
if you can track down this sucker, the Carlson Factory book, and you're an artist, I highly recommend owning it. 20 years later, and the binding still holds up. You figure that one out. I mean, especially these days and age, I've got a few Kickstarters where the binding's already like, really?
And it's a soft cover too.
So, all right, Ashley, thanks for joining in. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You know, talking about this. We'll have to have you back soon. Everybody, like, share, subscribe. You know the deal, right? Like, throw it out. You know, go get this book, and then, you know, hey, if you too get the book, you make a video, share it with me. I'll watch the video, and then maybe if I like you, we'll chit chat. We'll have you on. Whatever we'll do. All right. See you later. See you all next time. Peace.
Peace.